Darktide was released back in 22, but I only started playing it recently, and from the very first moment, I developed this love-hate relationship with the game. And that's what I want to talk about here, and along the way, we'll be counting scores. Hi, my name is Megan. I'm your regular YouTuber, but without sponsors yet, so you'll be getting my honest and unfiltered commentary on Darktide from Warhammer 40k. The very first section starts with tutorials, teaching you how to balance melee, ranged, and defensive mechanics in the game. And here is what I loved about it, and I genuinely hope more gaming studios apply this approach to their combat tutorials. Enemies don't attack back. In fact, they don't move at all. They're just standing there, and I can take my sweet time figuring out how the key combinations work. Plus, you can replay the tutorials as many times as you need. Such small things, but they make a huge difference when you're learning how to play. Very good first impression, Fat Shark. Dear other AA and AAA game studios, I don't want to get my ass kicked while I'm trying to learn how to play a new game, and I might need few more rounds of practice instead of one. Not yours, Megan. Not to game shame other studios, yeah, you can do better. And the scores? Okay, let's move on. Then we enter the main hub called Mourningstar. And the anxiety kicks in. Mourningstar is a big hub full of kiosks that sell you contracts and whatnot, and because there are no directions or map to navigate, you're basically going to spend the next hour of the game just walking past them and reading text. Although the game does slowly guide you through different sections of the hub as you progress, I would have preferred a more intentional onboarding at the start. When you start a mission, the very first thing you notice is that you cannot switch from a first-person field of view to third. Just like me, you actually realize this while you're being attacked from behind, and very soon after that, you apply a strategy I like to call headless chicken, where you're constantly spinning your character 360 degrees. In most games, you get options to change this abomination in the setting, but not in this game. You can only slightly increase the FOV in the settings, and for me, that doesn't do the trick. I like a third-person perspective for two reasons. One, which I already mentioned, I want to see when enemies are approaching from behind. And the other is that I like seeing my character's outfit, hairstyle, and all the good stuff I spent hours grinding for. Now, this could have been a deliberate choice by the developers to add an element of frustration and encourage players to cover one another and work as a team. I'm a team player, but I still don't like it. And if I could ask the developers for one thing, that would be an optional perspective mode in the next update. Normally, if a game forces first-person FOV only, I immediately stop playing the game. But this game looks so good. The graphics are incredible. The level design is insane. The details, the environment, the lighting, everything is so well done for a grim, dark atmosphere. And it doesn't really help when you're already a big fan of Warhammer universe and you see just how well they executed the design in this game. So I decided to push past the FOV issue and just appreciate the universe. Another thing Darktide does really well is team dependency. This isn't a solo power fantasy the way it is in similar games like Helldivers, where team members are able to scatter across the map. It doesn't matter how high your level is, if you move too far ahead or fall too far behind, you will die, especially on difficulties higher than Heresy. The number of enemies increases dramatically and surviving without your team becomes almost impossible. This game forces teamwork and I really like that. I didn't get into Darktide expecting the soundtrack to slap this hard. The music isn't just background noise, it drives moment-to-moment experience. Composed by Jesper Kid, all hail Jesper Kid, the award-winning composer and sound designer, the soundtrack kicks in at exactly the right times, pushing tension higher during horde encounters and turning already chaotic fights into something euphoric. My top 3 tracks from this masterpiece are Immortal Imperium, Chills, the Transit Horde, and Disposal Unit. can't say enough about the music. The music matches the decaying, oppressive atmosphere of Imperium. Strip the music away, and the game will lose a huge part of its identity. One of my favorite aspects of this game is enemy audio cues. Enemies aren't just visually different, they sound different. There are these huge enemies called mutants, and you hear them before you actually see them. They have this deep roar that tells you exactly what's coming. If you're wearing 360 reality audio headphones, you can actually hear which directions these enemies are approaching from. That means you can react to them before they even get close. And sometimes you just miss them. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Every enemy has its own audio, and that makes the combat feel fair. That being said, there are enemies that always manage to get me. There are these enemies with electric nets. If you know, you know. They're called scab trappers, and they don't have any real audio identity. They love to sneak up on you from behind.
Oh, trap me,
Come in.
I'm in the back. Oh, f***. Every time this trappy guy traps me.
Why they always manage to get me, you ask? Well, it's because I can't see behind me. Seriously guys, just drop the third-person FOV already. Among the things that I appreciate in this game is how friendly fire is handled. It technically does exist, but at lower difficulties, basically anything below heresy, it is so minimal that you barely even notice it's there. In contrast, games like Helldivers allow teammates to shoot one another accidentally or intentionally. And it quickly turns frustrating instead of fun. That's actually one of the reasons why I stopped playing Helldivers, but that's a story for another time. Darktide keeps friendly fire so restrained in the early and mid-game that the chaos is focused where it should be. On the enemies, not on your squad. The last positive point in my commentary goes to in-game character dialogue. There are apparently over 90,000 voice lines running on thousands of context-based rules. The game is constantly checking what is happening, who's low on ammo, how intense the fight is, who's nearby, and what's already been said before deciding if a line should play. So instead of recycled chatter, the dialogue actually reacts to the moment you're in.
Listen! Still think your attitude stinks, but you're a handy lad to have around in its tight spots.
That's nice! That's real nice, actually! Even if you are a cartoon nose robber of a commissar's pet!
Oh, and you've got a foul mouth on you too!
The chatter is sometimes really funny.
You feeling alright? Not really. Must be something I ate. Never take food from an ogre.
If someone grabs all the ammo, the other characters will call it out. If you run off your own, they will comment on that too.
We've got to stay together. Don't you get that?
Little exchanges, beats of personality, and sometimes the lines you don't hear again. And the final criticism I have is regarding navigation during missions. Even now, after playing for almost 30 hours, I sometimes struggle to navigate. And I notice many other players also struggle with it too. Sometimes we're just desperately following the player in front, only to realize even the pioneer doesn't know which way to go.
We should pray for guidance, unless anyone has a map.
I understand that this could have been another deliberate decision to force players search the whole area and also to increase the level of intensity in game. Our final score is an indicator that the positives of the game outweigh the negatives, and despite all these frustrating points that I mentioned earlier, I genuinely love Darktide. It's challenging, it's fast-paced, it's intense, and it definitely rewards attention and teamwork when it's due. It doesn't hold your hand, but if you stick with it, it gives you a unique gaming experience. So that's it guys, this is my commentary on Darktide from someone who still gets frustrated but is pretty much hooked on the game. I really like to hear what you like and dislike about the game in the comments, and if you like honest commentaries on games like this, make sure to tag along. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.